Hello everyone, welcome to this video on data types in JavaScript. My name is Ademola and I will be guiding you through this topic. In this video, I will be covering the data types in JavaScript, and in all, we have there are two types of data. Like specifically, there are two types of data in JavaScript. So what we'll be talking about today is data types in JavaScript. Yeah. Okay. So so I said specifically we have two types of data in JavaScript, which is one, we have the primitive data type, and we have the non-primitive, sorry, let that be a capital letter, so non-primitive non-primitive data type. Okay, so yeah, these are the two major data types in JavaScript, right? So under primitive data, we have data like numbers. Yes, sorry, we have numbers. We have um, string. Okay, sorry, I think that should be all right. So we have strings. Okay, and we have boolean. We have boolean. Sorry for that, since like my keyboard is having some issue today. Okay, so we have boolean. We have undefined. Sorry, it should be 10. Okay, and also we have null. And we have big int, which is used for a very large number, and we also have symbol. Okay, so basically these are all the primitive data types that we have, which are in total is 7. Okay, and for non-primitive data type, we have array, we have arrays, and we have objects. Okay, so these are basically the types of data that we have in JavaScript. Okay, so so we'll be trying to explain each and every one of them, and then giving you some kind of example to give you a very good understanding of what we are talking about. Okay, so what I will advise is in any of my tutorial, because what I'm doing is for people that are just going into web development, right? So what you do for me is, whenever you are watching these videos, try and do what we call code along, so that you can also have the practical experience, not just listening to this video like this. All right, so numbers in JavaScript can be used to hold values. Okay, it can be used to hold values. So in total, we have two types of data. Okay, we have two types of numbers. Sorry, so we have integer. We have integer numbers, which are whole numbers. Okay, which are whole numbers. Okay, and we have the floating point number. Okay, which is floating point numbers. All right, so those are the types of numbers that we have in JavaScript. Okay, so for whole number, which is integer, I can say let age should be equal to 32. Okay, so this is an whole number. Sorry, the whole number. So then we can say let height equals 5.4. Okay, so this is a floating number. It is also called a fraction. Okay, so it is also called a fraction. So that is basically the two types of number that we have. Okay, all right, so I hope you understand number from my explanation. So now let's move to strings, and let us see examples for string and what string does and how string looks like. Okay, so strings are used to represent a text value. Okay, so whenever you are working with the text value, the type of data that you go with is strings. Strings are written in quotes, whether a single or a double quote. So that's it. That's what strings are. So you can say let's like we did in one of our last class. We say at the So the double quotes that you are seeing here is yeah, the double quotes you are seeing is the strings. Okay, and you can also have a single quote and say like, let's say let's name one equal to Ademola. It's the same thing, but technically they are different, and I'll be doing some kind of examples that shows how they are different technically. Okay, so you can just stay tuned for that. Okay, okay, so we have used a double quote and we have also used a single quote. But there's a caveat. Yes, like I said, there's a caveat I would like to show you as regarding strings. Okay, let's assume you are using a single quote, like I just finished using it to enclose a string. That the sentence inside of the string also has a quote. Okay, so that is okay. For example, let me say we have let company equal to okay, I can say my company. Okay, so this is my company, right? But I can use and say, let me see my company's name. You can see we don't have an error, and we do console log. We console log it. We will get our answer. But if you look at what we are getting, right, you can see that under the hood, JavaScript added a backslash for us to allow JavaScript to understand that we are not closing the quotes of the string here, but we are just using it as a part of the sentence for that particular string. Okay, so under the hood, JavaScript tried to do what we didn't do for us, right? But that is the technicality I was talking about. Okay, so if I try to do, let's say company one is equal to, yeah, let me still use the same thing. Okay, but now we are using single quotes. Say my company's name. All right, and we close the string. You can see that even without console logging or anything, we are having an error. Why is that? That is because JavaScript is taking the first quote as the end and start of the quote. Then it is flagging this because it is not part of the string. So automatically JavaScript is ending the string here, right? So how can we navigate this? So that's the difference. That's why I said it's different technically. Okay, so how can we navigate this? The only way we can navigate this is what JavaScript did under the hood for us when we use double quotes, and that is by adding a backslash to our code. Okay, you can see that now JavaScript recognize that this is just part of the sentence and not the end of the quote, right? So that's what I wanted to take away from this string example, right? And mostly it is disadvisable to always use a single quote when dealing with when you are dealing with a string. Okay, so that's it. And yeah, so I think that's the technical stuff I was trying to say. That is, the JavaScript takes your apostrophe in your sentence as also part of a string. Okay, so yeah, so like I explained, so to navigate that, you have to use a backslash to let JavaScript know that your apostrophe is actually part of your part of the statement or part of the sentence. Okay, so if you are enjoying this video up to this point, please subscribe so you can have first-hand access to uploads as it drops. So we will talk about undefined now, right? Yes, so let's talk about undefined. Okay, I think I made a mistake here. Okay, so undefined is a variable that has been declared but has not been assigned a value. Yes, it is possible for you to declare a variable. Sorry, it's actually, yes, it's actually possible to declare a variable without assigning a value to it. So it represents an uninitialized variable or a non-existence variable or property. So for example, we can say let's user. You know, here we have a variable, but we haven't assigned any value to it. Okay, so if I try to console log this and say console.log user, you see we get undefined. So that is what undefined is all about. We don't have a value assigned to that particular variable. Okay, so now we can move to boolean. Let's talk about booleans. Okay, so now booleans are used to represent a true or false value. Is a true or false value. Yeah, so it's as simple as that. Yeah. So for example, I can say let admin. Yeah. So I can use a true statement. Let admin equal true. Sorry, that should be true. Okay. So that's a boolean. Okay, and I can say let is licensed equals false. So that's it. So booleans is a true or false value. Okay, so I would like us to move to the next, right? And that's null. Okay, so null is a special data types because it only holds one values, which is null. Okay, null is null here and anywhere. Okay, so it represents the absence of any object value. So we can say let x equals null. That's just it. Yeah, so the use for this will be explained, or as we move forward in this in the subsequent videos, some of these things will begin to you'll begin to understand them as we move on. All right, so that's what null does. Null just give you a value of null. So if you say console the log, if you say console the log x, then we get the null value. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about big int in JavaScript. So big int is a new data type. It was introduced in ES 2020. Okay, so I think that was okay. So yeah, ES 2020, ES 2020, which is ECMAScript 2020, and we can use it to store large values of number. Okay, a big int usually or always have an n at the end of its value. Okay, so we can say big int. Okay, we can say let large num. Okay, large num equals 1 2 3 4 5 6 9 8, and we can put an n at the end of it. Okay, and we can do console dot log lag num. Okay, so that's as far as the explanation for that. And so since this is just to explain data types to allow you so that you can be familiar with data types in JavaScript, so the explanations won't go further than that. But as we go on, as I said earlier, we will explore more of it so that we get a very good understanding of it. All right, so having explained that, let's treat the last primitive type, which is symbol. Symbol are used to represent a unique identifiers. Okay, so it is used to represent a unique identifier. So we can say let symbol equal to, it has its own built-in method, right? You can say symbol, then we can add let's say user ID. All right, so like I said, everything will soon come to light as we move on in this in our tutorials subsequently. Okay, so symbol, we have the symbol of user ID. All right, so now let's move to the non-primitive type of JavaScript. So under non-primitive type, like I said, we have arrays and objects. Okay, arrays allows us to, arrays allows us to store more than one element under a single name or under a single variable. So it is a special variable that can hold more than one value and data types. For example, we can actually have something like const array equals, can have an array, and we can say we have a number 1, can have a string of number, and we can have a boolean value of 2. Yes, can have a boolean value of 2. We can have a boolean value of false. We can have undefined. We can have undefined. We can have null. Yeah, so basically we can have all of data types together in an array. Okay, so that's what array does. You understand? Now if you console log, you see we get all the values of the array without an L or without any L. Okay, so here we have the array, which is 6 in number, because actually, yeah, there's a lot we can get with array. I'll try and explain some of these things here now. Okay, so we can see that we have array with a number in a bracket of 6. It's telling us that the number of properties that we have in the array is 6. So what that means is we can do something which is we can add dot length to this, and it will return the number of arrays that we have, the number of properties that we have in the array. All right, so that's this. I just want to show you that. So yeah, and so there is a lot. Instead of the array, we can also do something. You know, we can also have access to every element in that array. Okay, so we can do something like this. We can say array of 0. Okay, if we do an array of 0, if we console.log array. Okay, oh, I'm sorry for that. Let's do a let first property. Let me say first pro equals that, and let's copy this and paste it inside of this. Then we have 1. Okay, because the first array, because this is how JavaScript works. JavaScript starts counting from 0, 1. So we have in yeah, so it's called index. So we have the index of 2, 3. So so practically what this means is that 1 in this array is 0, and Ademola is 1, and 2 is 2, 4 is 3, like that. Okay, so if you do let first pro equals array of 0, it returns the first properties of the array, which is 1. Okay, and if we also do here, let's say let second array, we can do that, equals array of 1, then you see that we have Ademola. So all right, that's it. So that's how we can have access to each of these properties in an array. Okay, so there is something we can also do in this array. I can change the value of the first array, which is array 0. I can do array 0, and we assign the value. Okay, I can say equals to 10. Okay, so I can console.log the array. I'm sorry, there's a mistake here. All right, so here I have 10. Right here I have, you can see that the one here automatically changes to 10. All right, so that's another thing I want to show you. Right, so that's another thing I want to show you. So now let's talk about JavaScript objects in JavaScript. Okay, so for objects in JavaScript, so objects itself, it allows us to use collections of key value pairs. Okay, so objects are used to represent collections of key value pairs, and it can contain values of different types of data in JavaScript. Okay, so it works always the same as almost the same as an array. Okay, so for example, we can say let's use user. So we can say user equals, so this is an object sign. It is called a curly bracket. Okay, so we open a curly bracket, and so inside of the object you can have so many things. You can have first name, and I'll say Ademola, and then we have and also have, let me say, do we have a user already? Yes, we does have a user. That's why we are having this error. Okay, so I can say person. I can say person. Okay, so I'll say last name. I'll use Sadiq. Okay, then I'll use age, and I'll say 25. What can we do again? I'll say occupation. Yeah, occupation. So this kind of hold all the information about a person. Okay, so occupation, yeah, like you can see, I'm a YouTuber and also a programmer. Don't mind my typing, it's a bit slow, but the main thing I want to take away is the knowledge and the tutorial that we are trying to right. So here we can console log person to get what to get the informations, okay, about the person. All right, so we can see that we have first name Ademola, last name Sadiq, age. Okay, so that's it. That's it. All right, so then we can also do an operation to have access to all of the properties of that object. Okay, so we can have access to it. I can even use it to write a lot of things, write a sentence. So I can say yeah. So here, let me say we can console log instead of going through another long route. You can see console log person. All right, so we have to go so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So let's first name. You can have access to the first name directly here. You can say equal to person dot. You see, I automatically have access to all of the properties of that object. If you look at this box up here, so I want to use the first name. Okay, so on the first name, if I console log that first name, you'll see I have access directly to that first name. Okay, so I can say first name here, and I have Ademola, which is my first name. So I can literally say using the template string. Okay, so we're talking about template string in subsequent class. Okay, so I can say my name is then I can use the dollar sign, curly bracket, and add person dot first name first. Then I can also say, okay, I'm sorry for that. All right. Then I can also say person dot last name. Okay. And I am a programmer, like I said. Okay, so let me I want to use person dot age, then, and I am a, so I want to cover my occupation now. Okay, person dot, I want to have access to the occupation. Okay, and I can to actually be able to getting this. What's that error? Okay, so I can say let sentence equal to that. Okay, and then I can console log sentence. I console log sentence, and you see that I have my sentence. My name is Ademola Sadiq. I'm 25 and I'm a YouTuber and a programmer. So that is that about audio. So I have explained different data types from primitive to non-primitive data types. Now let's give you some best practices. So one of the best practices I would recommend to you guys is use correct data types for the value you are working with. Okay, let a string what I'm saying is use a string for its text value. So that's it. And also use numbers for numeric values. Another one I want to chip in is to avoid implicit type conversion. That's because it can lead to unexpected behavior. You understand? For example, when you are trying to do something like let sum, okay, so you want to sum a number, then you have a string, then you are doing plus. This will not give you the accurate number or the accurate sum that you are looking for, because you are using the string and the number together to when you are trying to get a numeric value. Okay, so if you say console log sum, you see we get 53. Okay, why? You are getting 53 because JavaScript is trying to, under the code, it's trying to concatenate your string and the numeric number together into a string. Okay, so that's what's happening, because normally JavaScript run code from top to bottom and from left to right. Okay, so for example, if I try to access or to console log the sum from on top of sum, then I'll get an error. Okay, from on top of sum, you see, you can say cannot access sum before initialization, right? So JavaScript run code from top to bottom. So because it hasn't been declared, sum hasn't been declared before we put a console log. That's why we are getting that error. So that's how JavaScript works. right? So that is it. Avoid the implicit types conversion. Okay, and and that's it for this video on data types in JavaScript. Okay, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you think what I'm doing is amazing, and it will really act as motivation for me to make more videos like this. Okay, so in the next video we'll cover operators and other related topics in JavaScript, including arithmetic, comparison, logical, and assignment operators. Thank you for being a part of this, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.